going on, guys? Again, we're back today with another video, and I thought that it'd be a good idea for me and Oscar, because Robin's not here today, he's busy masturbating. So I thought we'd talk about PlayStation and 20 years of playing, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much 20 years since the PlayStation launched, in Japan anyway. So yeah, we thought we'd kind of head back to the beginning of time. Not really a beginning of time, but you know what I mean, like 1994, which actually, wait, Callum, you weren't born, neither was I, so it's actually before our time, but we'll still have the memories of the PlayStation 1 and, through until the PS4 right now. So we thought we'd head back straight to PS1 first and then go through the kind of 4 consoles individually. So we're going to start off with PS1, and I'm going to share the small story of how I managed to get my PS1, which I think Callum will probably end up sharing as well.
Yeah, most likely.
So pretty much mine came from Santa, or kind of Santa, if that makes sense. It was a Christmas present, as far as I know. It's very, very kind of blurry to me, so I don't really remember that well. But I think I was like 4 or maybe even slightly older. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I was not very old at all. And I got the new new PS1, which of course was the slimmed down version, the kind of more rounded edged version. And I remember some of the games I ended up playing on that, which kind of stuck in my memory are Crash. Obviously, you've got Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3. Personally, out of them all the 3, Crash 3 is my favourite. I think I've expressed that many a time.
Yeah, you
the other games that I was playing was Spyro, although I know that was incredibly hard, a really hard game actually. I remember playing that. I think I played it with my sister quite a lot, and it was quite difficult. And I don't think we ever actually never actually completed the game, but I think it was it was just the kind of fun element of collecting all those gems and all that other stuff around this kind of open world. I think it was in a way, kind of went through level portals or whatever. Anyway, another one I ended up playing was Rayman, the original Rayman, which also was very hard, and was quite confusing. I didn't really get very far in that game either, but I kind of enjoyed it. Crash Team Racing was the racing spin-off of Crash as well, developed by Naughty Dog as well. I remember playing that quite a lot, especially with my sister as well, because we had 2 PS1 controllers. And then the final game, which I think, if anyone doesn't have this game or didn't play it when they had their PS1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is one of my favourite games of all time, simply because of the deaths and how it was just so much fun. It was unreal. It was one of my most best memories from the PlayStation 1, along with Crash, of course. And Tony Hawk's was just brilliant. I loved it. So yeah, Callum, what are yours?
Obviously I got Crash and Spyro on this list. As you pretty much should if you've been gaming for all the time that these consoles have been around. I think I was about the same age as you when I got mine. I think I was 4 or something, around Christmas time. And I got it, and I had Crash and Spyro and all that. Another game, I played all the games bar Rayman that you mentioned. So I also played Gran Turismo, which is old school and just old school driving. And I see now how it's got a lot better, but it's still it's good. It's nostalgic, I guess, to kind of go back to something like that. If I could, I probably would go back to a PS1 and maybe play some of the games that were available back then, just because of how good they were, and it was a simpler time, I guess, for gaming. You don't have to deal with all the fanboys talking about, it's not 60 frames per second or some bollocks like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I just had another thought actually as you were speaking there. One of the games, I don't know if you actually ended up playing this, but another quick story, I suppose. My cousins used to live in, or I don't actually know specifically where, but it was kind of a Middle Eastern country, and I can't remember. The place is just completely gone from my brain, but they ended up getting a game from there, and it was in English, but it was a game that was sold out there, and it was sold in the UK, but it was very rare. I don't know what it was about it, but it was called Crash Bash, and it was a spin-off game of the Crash series. It wasn't developed by Naughty Dog. It was developed by Eurocom, I believe, and also Cerny Games, who, of course, Mark Cerny was the head of, who, of course, was the lead system architect on the PS4, if you didn't know that already. But yeah, he developed that game along with Eurocom, and that was a really good game. It was a party game. It was one of my favourite games, again, on the PlayStation 1. And I don't know what it was about that game, but it was really fun.
It was.
Unfortunately now, though, it's very, very buggy on my PS1. When I try to play it, it just freezes all the time. And it's
You've still got your PS1?
yes, I have a PS1, I have a PS2, I have a PS3, and I have a PS4.
No way.
I have and also a PSP and a PS Vita. I have every single PlayStation console ever released in the UK, pretty much. Anyway, I don't know if there's any like spin-off ones that haven't been released, but I've got every single PlayStation console released in a big console, I suppose. So yeah, let's move on to the PlayStation 2 era. The PS2, this is off the top of my head again. I think it was released in 2001 in the UK.
I think it was. Yeah.
It was March 2000, March the 4th, 2000. I think that was in Japan, but I'm not sure. I'm on Wikipedia at the moment, but I believe it was 2001 in the UK. But anyway, more importantly, what kind of games were very, very important to us in that era? Well, for me, actually, I'll quickly share the story of how I got my PS2 as well, just to kind of add to that, I suppose. This was actually more fun than the PS1 one. Pretty much, I had an inkling that I was going to get the PS2 for Christmas. Again, it's a Christmas present, which actually all of my PlayStations are, apart from the Vita. I bought that myself. But the PS2, I pretty much snuck down in the middle of the night and saw a pretty big box, which I had a feeling might have been a PS2. And I kind of ripped some of the paper, and I could see a yellow box, and all I could see was a little P, and I knew instantly that it was going to be a PlayStation 2.
What it was, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And actually, the first PS2 that I ever got was the Slim. I never got the chunky PS2.
I had one.
No, I didn't get the PS2. I think it was because they were very expensive at that time, and I probably wasn't in full-on gaming. I was just like, yeah, I'll get a PS2 when it comes out kind of thing. But I ended up getting the Slim version. So some of the games that I ended up playing on the PS2, which I think personally, well, it is obviously the best-selling console of all time, and I'd probably say it's the best console I've had the most fun on so far, I'd say. Not necessarily the most powerful console, but the most fun I've had on a console. And so pretty much Crash, obviously, again, it wasn't Naughty Dog this time, but there was, what was the game? It was the first one. What was it called? Crash.
Oh God.
Is it
Wrath of Cortex?
That's the one. Wrath of Cortex. That was the one. I know it had something with Cortex in it, but I couldn't remember the game straight off. But yes, Wrath of Cortex, which again was developed by, I think that's Traveller's Tales, who went on to make all the Lego games.
Yeah, it was. No, Telltale game makes them, don't they?
No, Traveller's Tales makes the Lego games. They're just called
retarded.
TT games now. They used to be called Traveller's Tales, but that's what it means.
Yeah.
But pretty much, yeah, Crash again. That was the only. I think that was the only PS2 Crash I got actually, because obviously went a bit downhill and went multi-platform after that. And then also I had Simpsons Hit and Run, which of course is one of the biggest PS2 games. I think probably the most. I'd probably say it's the biggest PS2 game there is.
One of the ones I had the most fun on,
and one of the most fun games, and I loved that so much. It was one of the best games I think I've ever played. And then finally, the one I've left got on here, and I'm sure Callum you must have got on here, is Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So both were incredibly good games. I've played a lot more on 2. Split screen with my sister again. We just played on the PlayStation all the time. Seems that's what happens. But yeah, it was really, really fun. I love that game so much. But yeah, Callum.
Well, yeah, obviously Crash, Simpsons, Star Wars Battlefront 2, 1. Well, like, the most obvious one that I can think of is Jak and Daxter. Like, I know you haven't played it, Oscar, but I know you're, like, soon playing it. But it's...
Recently bought it on Vita.
It was, like, literally one of the best things that I played, like, PlayStation 2 era-wise. It was free roam all the time, and I just think, like, Naughty Dog did an amazing job with that, even though it's considered one of the weakest, like, franchises that they've created. Like, obviously with The Last of Us, Uncharted, Crash, etc. GTA as well, like old school GTA, GTA 3, San Andreas as well, Vice City, just like, why the hell not? It's GTA, you can go around and beat the crap out of hookers, it's brilliant. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I think that is pretty much all I have. Actually, I remember once I had a game called Crazy Taxi. It was so weird. It was like this
It was. I did actually have that game as well. It's so strange, isn't it?
Drove around and just ran over people while you were picking people up. It was so weird.
Yeah.